It's time for the other half of our Southern California housing market update. They were getting way too long. 25 minutes of data is way too much for anybody, and I decided it was time to go ahead and split the reports. So earlier in the week, you saw the numbers we pulled directly from the multiple listing service. Now you're going to get the median home prices and the Altos Research Reports for Southern California. Hey there. Christian Walsh, real estate agent with Wire Associates. We have been helping buyers and sellers make the best decisions during these crazy days. And it's time for the rest of our housing market update. Now that things are finally interesting in the housing market and we're seeing a shift, we have to keep tracking this data, and we're tracking it from different angles. So that's what we're going to go ahead and dive into right now. We're going to show you what happened to the median home price, both month over month and year over year. We're seeing an interesting trend that needed to happen in the year over year median home price numbers. And then we're going to dive in to the Altos Research Reports. We have a couple surprises, 2 new reports you haven't seen, and of course you can get access to if you sign up. So if you're ready to dive into the data for Orange County, LA, Riverside, San Diego, San Bernardino, and Ventura counties, hit that like button. And let's get started. Let's dive into the median home price, and there is a big change. In Orange County, we can see it very quickly. We have a drop in the median value. It's dropped 2 months now. So we had that peak happen in April, and then it dropped in May, and now June it's dropped again. Still over $1 million for single family condo townhome as the median home price in Orange County, but it has dropped. Now, it is not unusual for the median home price to drop, but looking back, it is dropping a little earlier than normal. So we can see that in 2021, it went up, and then post-June started to drop. And same thing, we can see that same thing happened in 2019, and then 2018, we can see a similar thing where it plateaued, and then it dropped later in the summer. So we did drop early, having the drop starting after April, and we'll have to see where it ends up. And this could definitely shows there's been a transition in the market. Of course, at these record levels for the median home price, it wasn't sustainable. These numbers were way too high. Now let's look and see. So we can see that in LA and Riverside, it dropped a little bit, but it's a little flatter than, we don't have that precipitous drop like we did in Orange County. Looking at the year over year numbers, so we're at 14.1% year over year for OC, 7.6% for LA, and 13.1% for Riverside. Now these are still very big numbers. Typically, these numbers should be anywhere from 3, maybe up to 5, but closer to 3%. So what I have been saying is what was going to happen is that the median home price, we needed to see these year-over-year numbers start to reduce. These were at or over 20% in reports we were doing, and that is not sustainable. So we're starting to see the year-over-year prices slow in their pace, which is what we needed. We need to get to a more normal market. Now, of course, you're going to keep watching these updates to see if it just shoots right past normal. Moving on to the rest of the Southern California counties, you can see that Ventura dipped and then is back up, and that San Bernardino and San Diego are down slightly, still at very high levels for median home price. And again, let's look at those year-over-year percentage increases in the median home price. We need to see these slow, and they are. We're not at these 20% or 18% that we were seeing. San Bernardino is at 13.1%, which is still high. Ventura is 6.9%. San Diego is 12.4%. Again, that's a year-over-year increase in median home price. So we're going to see these numbers continue to shrink, the year-over-year percentages, as the median home price continues to plateau. And here are the Altos reports, and you know you can sign up for these. I've shown you that. You can literally search for any city or zip code and sign up and get that report. There's a link below so you can do that. But I've added some new data, and you're going to be excited to see this. I have national data, so if you want the national numbers, make sure you sign up and then reach out and we can put this on your account. But there's important things I want to look at here. I want to track where things are headed. The Altos Research Reports are the the active listings. So this is the leading edge. This is new inventory coming. These are the leading indicators. This is the data we want to watch to see if there's going to be a further shift. We've already been tracking a shift for a while. Let's see where it goes, and let's see if it gets to a tipping point. So what are we going to look at quickly for that? Well, we're going to look at inventory, and you can see here that inventory is up. Let me get the 90-day average out. Let's look at 7-day average. So we can see that there's more nationally. We have more homes for sale than we did a year ago. Now, last year we had record low, and you'll see that in all the data. So the fact that inventory meets last year, not a big deal. In this case, nationally, we're below 2020. So in 2020, there was more inventory. Now, it was COVID at this time of year, and the market had just started to take off, by the way, at this time in 2020. But we can go back to 2019. That would be the last data point here. And we can see that we're still, we're at about half of the amount of inventory we had at this time in 2019. The other thing that's important to look at is how long properties are taking to sell. And you can see here that it's taking about 21 days now to sell a property national. That's the national average. And it's about the same it was last year at this time. In 2020, even though the market was picking up, there were multiple offers at this time, it was taking much longer to sell a home. So we're at 21 days. 2019, a normal market, it was 56 days. One other important statistic to talk about are properties with price decreases. That's been in the news recently. Reports coming out, we're at record levels of properties that are dropping their prices. Now, in any given market, anywhere from 30 to 40% of properties are going to drop their price. There's going to be a price decrease before it sells. So let's look and see where the numbers are. I'll get the 90-day average out of here. And you can see that it is up at the national level. It's at 29% of properties are dropping their prices. And then when you compare it to year over year, this looks like a dramatic increase because a year ago, only about 19% were dropping prices. And then we look at 2020 and we're above 2020, but not a normal market. But now let's go to a normal market. In 2019, at this point in time, 33% of properties were dropping their price in order to sell. What is alarming, if you will, is how quickly this has gone up. But that could also be explained. A lot of sellers know what's going on with the market. They try a higher price. If things don't happen quickly, sellers these days, because they hear the stories about getting 100 people coming through an open house, getting 20 offers. If you don't get 20 offers, you realize, okay, it can only be the price. I feel sellers are dropping their prices more quickly these days because we're coming out of such a frenzied market. It's easy to tell it's the price, but we'll see how this plays out and we'll see if it gets into a danger territory. And again, sign up for the Altos reports. I'm only going to show it on this national report because we don't have time to cover every single spot and the amount of time it's taken to sell, but you can get access to the data and look at it. Another new one, I got to surprise you with two. So now we have the data for all of California. Looking at inventory, we can see inventory's up. Looks like it's about around July 2020 levels, but much lower than July of 2019 for the state of California. Now going county by county, starting with Orange County, you can see if we look at the market action index, you'll see this on every county in Southern California, that last month was better. We are still in a seller's market for all of Southern California, but it's a little bit less of a seller's market. So we can see inventory is up. And then you can see in the quick chart here that the median days on market has ticked up. We're at 21. And we can see that 30% of properties have a price decrease. Let's go ahead and take a quick look. I knew I said I wouldn't. But again, we've got that similar pattern where the number of properties where there's a price decrease has increased very quickly, but it's still below the 2019 levels. And you're going to find that everywhere in Southern California, but we do need to watch and see what happens. Los Angeles, similar thing. Market action index is down, slightly less of a seller's market. Inventory is up. It looks like it's passing 2020 and 2021 levels, and we're going to go ahead and get to the 2019 levels. We can see the median days on market is up to 28 as well. So the market's definitely shifting, and we saw that in our other report that we showed you earlier in the week when we pulled the data directly from the multiple listing on pending sales. You can see that things are down in LA County, and it's reflecting in this data, of course. Riverside County seller's market has reduced a bit, but still a strong seller's market. And inventory is, again, higher than 2020 and 2021, and it'll be going to 2019 levels. We can see days on market has ticked up. No surprise here. We're seeing this over and over that the market is shifting, and we're going to have to see ultimately what ends up happening. San Bernardino, you can see the inventory levels have increased, and that's actually a relatively rapid increase in the levels that we're seeing. It's definitely surpassed 2020 and 2021, and that did it relatively quickly. We're going to have to keep an eye on San Bernardino to see where this inventory heads. Still below 2019 levels, but headed up there very quickly. Ventura, again, better last month than this month. Not a dramatic drop. Inventory is up, very similar to some of the other counties we looked at. Actually, less inventory than 2020. But here, I want to show you on this one, properties with a price decrease, get the 90-day average out. And that's a big increase. This is actually higher today than it was back in 2019. Although you see it did continue to go up in 2019 through August and hit almost 40%. But this is a big increase in the number of properties with a price reduction. It could be sellers just jumping in front of the market, but this is something we'll have to keep an eye on as well. San Diego County, when we first started these, the market action index was 100. It was an extreme seller's market. It has gone down since then. Still one of the stronger markets in Southern California based on the market action index. We can see the increase in inventory here, again getting close to 2019 levels, pushing up to there. And then also let's look at the properties with the price decrease, get rid of the 90-day average. And this is another market where we can see the huge increase in the properties that have dropped their prices and getting close to the July 2019 numbers. We'll have to keep watching to see if it surpasses it. So there are your Altos Research Reports for Southern California. Make sure you reach out to subscribe and you'll get any city sent to your email inbox weekly. Let us know in the comments below what you saw in the data we just ran through. Do you see a market that's ready to fall apart? Do you see a market that's just going to normal? Where do you think we're headed? I want to know. I may have mentioned it once or twice, but sign up for those Altos Research Reports. And the side benefit is you're going to get our free weekly email newsletter as well, where we cover topics like this. You'll get access to all the infographics and charts that we create and a whole lot more. Make sure you check out this next video where we dive more into the housing market 2022. Thanks for tuning in. This has been Christian Walsh, real estate agent with Wire Associates, and we want to hear from you.